Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to, well, we might rebrand the channel, I don't know. Welcome back to Nub Star Rail as it is right now. But today we're not playing Star Rail, we are playing Zenless Zone Zero. And I want to go through the standard characters that you get, the standard S rank characters. So, for example, if we jump over to our stable channel, right, we have the 6 standard characters that, number 1, you can pull from your stable channel whenever you get one of your S rank characters. You will also, of course, be getting one of these within your first 50 pulls guaranteed. You will get one of them. And this will sort of determine for a lot of you where you're going to go in the early game to build teams around them. We're going to be ranking them here today. I can tell you right at the start, definitely there is a ranking to them, but all of them are viable. They can all be really strong, and you can, like, no matter what, even if you pull the worst character, you can still build a team around that and find really, really good success in the game at the moment, for sure. They will all probably be power crept eventually and replaced, you know, a year or two down the line. You won't be using any of them that much, most likely. And of course, very importantly, whenever you do get an S rank on your limited banners, there is a 50-50 that you get. In this case, like my first time getting an S rank on the Ellen banner, it's a 50-50 I get Ellen. 50-50 we get one of these standard characters, and that's going to be the same on every single limited banner. So you will be building these up over time, because you will eventually lose some 50-50s, maybe even on your first one. Hopefully not, but it could happen. You will lose 50-50s on your limited banners. You will be getting these standard characters for sure. It might take time. Like for me in Honkai, I've got 4 copies of Bailu. Back to back, just Bailu every time. That could happen. Like, for example, in this game, you could come across and you could get, I don't know, Soldier 11 every single time. It could happen. She'll get more powerful. But yeah, anyway, look, let's break it down. Let's look at these agents and let's rank them from, well, let's start from the best and go to the worst, right? Let's start from the best. So the best one right now, I think, for a number of reasons, is Lycaon. So this guy, I'm blocking it right here, right now, but he is an ice stun type character. Now, stun is so important in this game, right? Stun specialize in crowd control, building up days and stunning enemies. Now, when enemies are stunned, they take vastly increased damage. That is going to be crucial to building teams. Like your standard team comp in this game is not the only comp, but the standard one is going to be 1 damage dealer, then 1 stun character, and then a support. So the support provides buffs to make your team stronger, the stun character stuns the enemy, and then your damage dealer comes in for massive damage. That's your standard sort of strategy. Von Lycaon, though, he's from the Victoria Housekeeping Company. He is ice as well. Why is he number 1? It's because he's the best stun character in the game right now. He is just the best. We come over to his core skills. We zip me out of the way for a second here, but you can see he does increase days on his basic attack. When he does some of these X special attacks or assist follow-ups, he decreases their ice damage resistance, which makes him very strong for any ice damage squad. Any squad with ice damage dealers, there's one that stands out, right? He will make them do more damage. He charges up days quickly, and if you build a faction with him, so another character in your squad with the same attribute or faction, when he hits a stunned enemy, he increases the damage multiplier. So he triggers stun really fast, he ups your ice damage, and then he just ups everyone's damage against stun. Fantastic, right? It's the core of any damage team, really. And the reason he's so powerful is, well, guess what? There is another ice type character from the Victoria Housekeeping Company, and that's Ellen, the first limited character. Now, Ellen is the best damage dealer in the game on launch. She is number 1, and he is the perfect companion character for her, right? Because again, he basically ups all the damage she does. He provides the stun for her, and you're sorted. The best team for them is going to be obviously Lycaon, Ellen, and then actually this chick over here. I can never remember her name. I've even got a couple of copies of her. Sukaku. But yeah, Sukaku is going to come in, and she is an ice support. So that fills out your trio of ice characters. They're all getting all of their skill bonuses. Brilliant. And she's providing the support to up the damage of the team. And yeah, she is boosted on Ellen's banner. So bam, if you get Lycaon on your 50 pulls and then you get Ellen, you're going to pick up almost definitely several, probably Sukakus along the way. And you're going to have yourself a really strong mono ice team right from the get-go. That's going to last you for probably a very long time. Now, Next up then, we have I rank her second place. So I give him an S, and I give then Rina probably an S minus. So she is a support character, again, for the Victoria Housekeeping Company, and she is an electric type. What is so strong about her? Again, we come to her passive. When she attacks, she increases your whole squad's penetration ratio by 25% of hers, plus an extra bonus, right? That improves as you go. This is just a general buff, right? It's sort of like getting through enemy defenses. You just do more damage. So she is just passively boosting any team she's in. She can provide support and boost up their damage. On top of that, if we look at her additional ability here, when, again, you've got someone on the same, with another electric character or someone from Victoria Housekeeping Company, increases the duration of shock, which is one of your anomalies, by 3 seconds. And then it also increases the electric damage shocked enemies take by 10%. So she does 2 things. Number 1, she is a really strong general support. That's just going to boost the damage of everyone. And yes, because she's a Victoria Housekeeping Company, you can run her with Ellen as well to get the bonuses for her and for Ellen. So great, cool. That's nice. Just generally strong support. On top of that, she is best in slot support for shock teams in particular. So building up the shock anomaly, she makes it last longer. They take more electric damage. So any electric teams right now, she is your best in slot support for them as well. So Rina is really, she's a bit weird. She sort of floats around the battle. She looks quite odd, but she's very strong. Next up then, I actually would put Grace maybe up next, but this is maybe a bit debatable because Grace does quite rely, I think, on Rina for her best team. So Grace is an electric anomaly character from Bellabog Heavy Industries. Now, the thing about Grace is all about building up the electric anomaly, which applies shock, okay, and then increases the damage that they're taking from shock. Great, perfect. Grace sort of functions as a sub DPS, so she just builds up shock, applies shock on the enemy, and then you can actually swap her out and you just leave that shock doing damage, right? So again, she combos super well with Rina. They're kind of ideal partners for a shock type team. That's probably the downside of Grace, I think, is that Rina is sort of generally very good. I mean, Grace is good as well, but not she doesn't have any massive other synergies right now, unlike Rina, I would say. But yeah, Grace comes in, she's going to do good damage, and like I said, she actually works well in like double DPS teams, and so on. So actually the best team for both of them is the mono electric team, which is Grace plus Rina combined with Anton, who is also boosted, by the way, on Ellen's banner. Anton is very straightforward. He just does electric damage, and he does bonus damage to enemies that are shocked. So it's a perfect combo. Basically, you boost up with Rina, you shock them with Grace, and then Anton comes in and does lots of damage. And then, of course, everyone gets Anby for free. She's a stun character with electric. So Anby, I'm running Anby with Grace because I obviously don't have Rina. But yeah, you can build up shock with her, then we can switch over to Anby and stun them, and then switch to Anton for big damage as well, right? So that's the team I'm running right now, is the mono electric with the more accessible A rank characters and Grace. Next up then, I think it's a little bit debatable the order of these two, but much like, I think there's a really strong, much like Rina and Grace combo together, I think these two characters combo together as well. I'm going to put Soldier 11 next, which is probably a little bit controversial. Soldier 11, though, she's very straightforward. She just does a lot of fire damage, right? When enemies are stunned, she does more fire damage. So she's simple. She's just a damage dealer. There's nothing flashy. There's nothing fancy. She just does a lot of damage. Now, she is the best fire damage dealer in the game right now. The best fire attack. In fact, she's the only fire attack. Now, why I think that I'm rating her a little bit higher is just your ease of use, right? Because you can build a good team with two A rank fire characters. So you can put in Ben. Ben is a defense character, so he's going to be really good at building up stun. And then you can put her in with a support, which is Luciana, right? So there you go. You've got two fire characters. Alongside of her, you've got a full mono fire team, and they're very strong. Now, to make that better, you would swap out Lucy for the other S rank standard character for fire, which is Koleda here, because she's a stun character as well. So you'd run Koleda plus Ben with Soldier 11 for your ultimate fire team right now, and that is the best fire team at the moment. I do think that Soldier 11 is quite likely to be power crept because she doesn't do anything I'd say too special. Like any fire damage dealer that's limited is probably going to just replace her straight out. But I think right now she's good, right? You've got good supports to combo with her. She can be your, I think it's quite worthwhile having an S rank damage dealer. Has a pretty big impact. So yeah, I'm going to rank her actually. Yeah, and sort of what's that in 4th spot overall. In 5th spot then, I'm going to be ranking Koleda. Koleda is probably a little bit more useful long-term than Soldier 11, but she does have some limitations at the same time. So where is it here? So it's in, yeah. This is something that's really unique about her. Oh, I should probably say from the start that she is a fire stun type character, okay? So fire stun. Again, I think the downside with her is that the ideal damage dealer to pair with her for fire is Soldier 11, which is a bit of a bummer. Now, you can also put her with Anton. Anton is from the same faction. Anton is from Belobog Heavy Industry, so he can be your damage dealer. But Anton, again, he really prefers to be with a team that's applying shock, so applying fire is not helping him too much. So for me, that's a bit of a downside with Koleda. Now, the other thing that's very unique about her, on some of her skills, you'll notice that when she is with Ben, when Ben is on the same squad, she basically does extra effects on her special attack, I believe on her ultimate as well. Yeah, she teams up with Ben. Her and Ben team up when fighting together. So she gets enhanced by having Ben on the team. That's actually not so bad. Ben is also fire. He's also from Belobog. So there you go. You can either add in a 3rd Belobog person, so probably Anton, or a 3rd fire person, Soldier 11, for their best team right now. So building the team's not too bad, but you are a little bit limited. And, you know, Ben, again, he's often rated pretty low. People don't like Ben too much, unfortunately. Ben is not considered to be very powerful. He's rather big and rather slow. So that's going to be perhaps a problem with Koleda. To get the most value out of her, you do want to run her with Ben. I think that's actually a perk right now at the start of the game, but it could be a little bit of a problem moving on. And then I think because she quite wants Soldier 11, like Soldier 11 is quite happy going with Ben and Lucy, but for Koleda, it becomes tougher to find a good synergistic damage dealer. So that's a mark against her for me. And then in the final position, I think the weakest, but only by a little bit, of the standard S-rank characters is Nekomata. Now, again, she's a physical damage dealer. She's the best physical again, let's be clear. She is right now the best physical damage dealer in the game, right? Like, she's going to be a big upgrade over Billy. No question. She's also from the same faction, the Cunning Hares. They're the main problem with Nekomata, honestly, unfortunately, is that, well, remember, we want to build teams with stun and support. Well, there's no physical stun or support characters in the game right now, so it becomes quite awkward. You could build a faction team with the Cunning Hares, but they're sort of your starting 4-star characters. Like, they're okay, but you know, it's not going to be amazingly strong. Like, you can run her with Anby, for instance. You could put her in with Anby for stun. They're from the same faction. And maybe Nicole for support, so you're getting a full Cunning Hares faction. The synergy is just not crazy strong. Your anomaly build-up's not crazy. It's just not the strongest. I think that's the biggest problem with Nekomata right now. But she's very fast. She's agile. She is powerful. So yeah, you know, she's I think very much focuses on dodging and whatnot. I think she will become a lot better when we do get more characters, right? When you do get more physical support and stun type characters or defense type characters, anything like that, stuff that will synergize with her into a team, I think she'll be better. I just think her main downside right now is that she just doesn't have a very strong team build, and that is going to hold her back when we get like to end game stuff in the next few weeks. So there you go, guys. That's those are my rankings. Let me know, what do you think about this? Again, maybe Soldier 11, me putting her sort of in the middle, might shock some people. Again, I think sort of the bottom 4, I think they all have kind of drawbacks. I would say, for me, definitely Lycaon and Rina definitely stand out as the 2 ideal ones to get. Then I think there's some substantial enough drawbacks to, you know, to Race is a bit more limited in team comp, but she's fun. The only anomaly one. Koleda is a bit limited on team comp. And then the 2 damage, Nekomata and Soldier 11, they obviously have probably the biggest risk of being power crept because, you know, people, let's be real, people like to pull for damage characters. That's what we like, let's be honest. We like the big damage dealers. So it's going to be very... They will definitely release stuff to power creep them at some point for sure, which might be a bit of a downside. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know. What is your ranking of the standard S rank characters? I'll be very curious how this changes. I mean, we've seen that with other Hoyoverse games, right? how they are ranked at the start, with the way the game develops and the meta develops, and how strong these characters can become in different teams, or how they can fall off and be replaced by other teams. Things can really shift up. So we'll see. Don't lose heart. You know, if you get Nekomata right now and you're like, you know, I don't like her even that much, maybe. If you don't like your character, that's a bummer. But we'll see. Long term, I think all these characters could have a place to play, and especially, you know, probably the end game is going into building specific element teams. That's probably coming, I'd say, pretty soon. It's going to be a bit of a focus. Like, you might need ice on one side, fire on another, etc. Right, that sort of stuff. But anyway, look, that's enough babbling. You get the gist. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.